Cadiz and Seville.
Cadiz and Seville, table of contents.
All about Cadiz and Seville in Spain. With visiting and touring information. Geography. History. Attractions. And other points of interest.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. drsydney22@gmail.com. 2022. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof,
Zoe Phonemes,
and Nathan Koltove. For a more complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to this video using the link here.
Chapter 1. Introduction to Cadiz.
Where is Cadiz?
Cadiz is in the south of Spain, in the region of Andalusia.
Spain is divided into these 17 autonomous communities, including Catalonia in the northeast corner of the country, and Andalusia in the south.
Andalusia is a large region in the south of Spain and borders on both the Atlantic Ocean on the west and the Mediterranean Sea on the east.
The capital of Andalusia is Seville in addition to Malaga and Cadiz. Also in Andalusia are the important and historic cities of Granada and Córdoba.
This is the flag of Andalusia.
This is a detailed view of the flag of Andalusia. Note the pillars representing the Straits of Gibraltar.
This is the flag of Cadiz.
This is the shield on the flag of Cadiz.
Cadiz is on the Atlantic Ocean side of Spain, close to the Strait of Gibraltar.
Andalusia is an important wine-producing region of Spain. Sherry wine is named after the city of Jerez that is close to Cadiz.
Cadiz, like Malaga, was settled by the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians named it Gator, meaning castle, fortress, or more generally, walled stronghold or simply wall. Agadir in Morocco has the same origin.
This is an historic map of Cadiz.
How big is Cadiz?
The population of the city of Cadiz is 130,000, and the population of the metropolitan area is 630,000, making it the 17th largest city in Spain.
During the Age of Exploration, the city experienced a renaissance. Christopher Columbus sailed from Cadiz on his second and fourth voyages.
Cadiz later became the home port of the Spanish treasure fleet. Consequently, the city became a major target of Spain's enemies.
In the 18th century, the sandbars of the river Guadalquivir forced the Spanish government to transfer the port, monopolizing trade with Spanish America from upriver Seville to Cadiz on the Atlantic coast.
During this time, Cadiz experienced a golden age, during which 3/4 of all Spanish trade was with the Americas. Cadiz became a very rich city. It was a tempting target for pirates and privateers. Cadiz was attacked 21 times by Sir Francis Drake.
A levy of 1% was imposed on the silver and gold brought into Cadiz from the Americas to build the very imposing Cadiz Cathedral.
Cadiz became one of Spain's greatest and most cosmopolitan cities, and home to trading communities from many countries, among whom the richest was the Irish community. Many of today's historic buildings in the Old City date from this era.
Cadiz is at the end of a long narrow peninsula.
This is a satellite view of Cadiz and the Bahía de Cadiz.
This is a map of Cadiz and the Bahía de Cadiz.
The famous Battle of Trafalgar in the time of the Napoleonic Wars between the British and the combined French and Spanish fleets was fought in the Atlantic Ocean.
Off of Cadiz, just north of the Cape of Trafalgar.
Chapter 2. Points of interest in Cadiz.
What does Cadiz look like?
This is a view of Cadiz.
One of Cadiz's most famous landmarks is its cathedral. This is one of the largest cathedrals in Spain.
The cathedral is on the site of an older cathedral, completed in 1260, which burned down in 1596.
The reconstruction was not started until 1776. It was supervised by the architect Vicente Acero, who had also built the Granada Cathedral.
Acero left the project and was succeeded by several other architects. As a result, this largely Baroque-style cathedral was built over a period of 116 years, and, due to this drawn-out period of construction, the cathedral underwent several major changes to its original design.
Although the cathedral was originally intended to be a Baroque edifice, it contains Rococo elements, and was finally completed in the neoclassical style. Its chapels have many paintings and relics from the old cathedral and monasteries from throughout Spain.
The original Gran Teatro Falla was constructed in 1871 and was destroyed by a fire in 1881. The current theater was built between 1884 and 1905.
In the 18th century, Cadiz had more than 160 towers, from which local merchants could look out to sea for arriving merchant ships.
These towers often formed part of the merchants' houses.
The Torre Tavira, named for its original owner, stands as the tallest remaining watchtower.
The Casa del Almirante is a palatial house constructed in 1690 with the proceeds of the lucrative trade with the Americas.
The Casa del Almirante was built by the family of the admiral of the Spanish treasure fleet, the so-called Fleet of the Indies, Don Diego de Barrios.
The old town of Cadiz is one of the most densely populated urban areas in Europe, and is packed with narrow streets.
The old town of Cadiz has 5 beautiful plazas, which are enjoyed by citizens and tourists alike. These plazas are Plaza de Minal, Plaza San Antonio, Plaza de Candelaria, Plaza de San Juan de Dios and Plaza de Espina.
The Plaza de Espina is a large square close to the port. It is dominated by the monument to the Constitution of 1812, which came into being as a consequence of the demolition of a portion of the old city wall.
Las Puertas de Tierra originated in the 16th century, although much of the original work has disappeared. Once consisting of several layers of walls, only one of these remains today.
By the 20th century, it was necessary to remodel the entrance to the old city to accommodate modern traffic. Today, the 2 side-by-side arches cut into the wall serve as one of the primary entrances to the city.
Cadiz, situated on a narrow peninsula, is home to some of Spain's most beautiful beaches. La Playa de la Caleta is the best-loved beach of Cadiz.
La Playa de la Caleta is the beach of the old city, situated between 2 castles, San Sebastian and Santa Catalina. It is around 400 meters long and 30 meters wide at low tide.
The James Bond movie, Die Another Day, was filmed here, although it was supposed to be in Cuba.
Chapter 3. Hop-on hop-off bus tours in Cadiz.
For the first-time visitor, a good way to see Cadiz is by a hop-on, hop-off tour bus, such as this city sightseeing hop-on, hop-off bus.
You can hop on and off as many times as you like aboard this open-top double-decker bus. There are 12 stops in total, and the entire route takes approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. The bus departs every 30 minutes from each stop. Tickets are valid for 24 hours from first use.
Tour starts at Plaza San Juan de Dios. However, you may board the bus at any one of the 12 stops around the city.
The tour departs every 30 minutes, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
These are some of the stops of the hop-on, hop-off tour bus.
This is a map of the route of the city sightseeing hop-on, hop-off tour bus.
Note that stop number 1 of the city sightseeing hop-on, hop-off bus route is near the cruise ship port.
Commentary in these 16 languages is available.
Chapter 4. Introduction to Seville. Seville is the capital of the autonomous community of Andalusia and of the province of Seville.
Seville, Cadiz, and Córdoba are all on the river Guadalquivir.
Chapter 5. Seville and the Americas.
Following the 1492 expedition of Christopher Columbus to the New World, all goods imported from the New World had to pass through Seville before being distributed throughout the rest of Spain.
A golden age of development commenced in Seville, due to its being the only port awarded the royal monopoly for trade with the growing Spanish colonies in the Americas and the influx of riches from them.
Seville was the only city in Europe where all the gold of the New World came for 2.5 centuries, from 1516 to 1778, thanks to its trade monopoly with the Spanish South American colonies.
Although Seville was 50 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, it was selected as the river port to monopolize the trade with the New World's treasure because of the navigability of the Guadalquivir River and the fact that it was part of the Kingdom of Castile.
Since only sailing ships leaving from and returning to the inland port of Seville could engage in trade with the Spanish Americas, merchants from Europe and other trade centers needed to go to Seville to acquire New World trade goods.
As a result, Seville's population grew to nearly 1 million people in the first 100 years after Columbus.
Beginning in the 1530s, the people and natural resources of South America were repeatedly exploited by foreign conquistadors, first from Spain and later from Portugal. These colonial nations claimed the land and resources as their own and divided it into colonies.
Spain was primarily interested in riches, gold and silver from its colonies in the New World.
The main interest in this region was the finding of riches, gold and silver in particular. The gold and silver riches of the Inca Empire drew the Spanish conquistadors down to Peru. Lima in Peru became the most important Spanish colonial city in the area.
Then the discovery of the fabulously rich silver deposits of the Cerro Rico, or Rich Hill, at Potosi in present-day Bolivia added to this interest.
King Philip ordered that the trade route in South America went up the west coast through Lima in Peru to Panama, and thence across to Isthmus to the Caribbean and on to Spain.
Any goods the settlers wanted to sell to Spain took 6 months to reach. A complete round-trip exchange between Buenos Aires and Spain could take an entire year.
In the late 16th century, the monopoly of Seville was broken, with the port of Cadiz also authorized as a port of trade. After the silting up of the harbor by the Guadalquivir River, upriver shipping ceased and Seville went into economic decline.
The Seville harbor is located about 50 miles, or 80 kilometers, from the Atlantic Ocean. It is today the only river port in Spain.
The population of the city of Seville is 700,000, ranking it as the fourth largest city in Spain. The population of the metropolitan area is 1.5 million.
The Old Town section of Seville is the largest in Spain, and one of the 3 largest in Europe together with Venice and Genoa.
Seville is approximately 3,000 years old. The passage of the various civilizations instrumental in its growth has left the city with a distinct personality and a large and well-preserved historical center.
Although Seville has a strong medieval, Renaissance and Baroque heritage, the city was greatly influenced by Arab culture.
Chapter 6. The Seville Cathedral. The Cathedral of St. Mary was built from 1401 to 1519 after the Reconquista on the former site of the city's mosque.
The Cathedral of St. Mary is the 3rd largest church in the world as well as the largest Gothic church in terms of both area and volume.
Columbus died in 1506. But after many years his remains were returned to Seville to be reinterred in the Cathedral of St. Mary.
The interior of the Cathedral of St. Mary is the longest nave in Spain, and is lavishly decorated with a large quantity of gold.
The cathedral reused some columns and elements from the mosque, and, most famously, the Giralda, originally a minaret, was converted into a bell tower.
The bell tower, Giraldo, is topped with a statue, known locally as El Giraldillo, representing faith.
The tower's interior was built with ramps rather than stairs, to allow the muezzin, Muslim prayer leader, and others to ride on horseback to the top.
Chapter 7. The Alcázar of Seville. The Alcázar of Seville, in Spanish, Reales Alcázares de Sevilla, or Royal Alcázars of Seville, is a royal palace, built for the Christian King Peter I of Castile from 1334 to 1369.
The Alcázar was built by Castilian Christians on the site of a Muslim residential fortress, destroyed after the Christian conquest of Seville.
The Alcázar is a preeminent example of mud-age architecture in the Iberian Peninsula, and is renowned as one of the most beautiful.
The upper levels of the Alcázar are still used by the Spanish royal family as their official residence in Seville, and are administered by the Patrimonio Nacional.
The Alcázar is the oldest royal palace still in use in Europe.
The Alcázar was registered in 1987 by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, along with the adjoining Seville Cathedral and the General Archive of the Indies.
The Alcázar facing the cathedral was developed from a previous Moorish palace.
This shows the location of the Alcázar.
The Alcázar gardens are a blend of Moorish, Renaissance, and English traditions.
This is the Patio de las Estancias in the Alcázar.
Construction of the Alcázar started in 1181 and continued for over 500 years, mainly in the Mudéjar style, but also in the Renaissance style.
Mudéjar refers to an architecture and decoration style in Spain and Portugal after the Reconquista that was strongly influenced by Moorish taste and workmanship.
The Museum of Arts and Traditions of Sevilla, in Spanish, Museo de Arte y Costumbres Populares, is a museum in the Mudéjar Pavilion, Pabellón Mudéjar, designed by Aníbal González and built in 1914.
The Gloria de Jardín de Murillo is an historic garden in Seville.
The Torre del Oro was built by the Muslim Almohad dynasty as a watchtower and defensive barrier on the river. A chain was strung through the water from the base of the tower to prevent boats from traveling into the river port.
The Museum of Fine Arts of Seville or Museo de Bellas Artes de Sevilla has a collection of mainly Spanish art, from the medieval period to the early 20th century.
The collection includes a selection of works by artists from the so-called Golden Age of Seville painting during the 17th century.
The Museo de Bellas Artes is housed in was originally home to the convent of the Order of the Merced Calzada de la Asunción, founded by Saint Peter Nolasco during the reign of King Ferdinand III of Castile.
This shows the location of the Museo de Bellas Artes.
Chapter 9. The General Archive of the Indies.
The General Archive of the Indies, or in Spanish the Archivo General de Indias, is housed in the ancient Merchants' Exchange of Seville, the Casa Lonja de Mercaderes.
The General Archive of the Indies is the repository of extremely valuable archival documents illustrating the history of the Spanish Empire in the Americas and the Philippines.
The building is an Italianate example of Spanish Renaissance architecture, and was registered in 1987 by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site.
The General Archive of the Indies came into being in 1785 at the request of King Charles III, for the purpose of collecting in a single place all the documents referring to the colonies in the Indies, which had until then been dispersed in Simancas, Cadiz and Seville.
The General Archive of the Indies contains over 43,000 documents, with some 80 million pages of original papers occupying 8 kilometers of shelving. This allows for the study of over 3 centuries of the history of America and the Philippines.
This shows the location of the General Archive of the Indies.
Chapter 10. The Money of Spain. Spain is a member of the European Monetary Union and uses the euro as its official currency.
Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon. 1 euro equals 1 US dollar and 1 cent. And 1 US dollar equals 0.99 euros.
Chapter 11. The Climate on Cadiz.
Will it be hot? Or will it be cold in Cadiz?
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in Cadiz.
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Celsius throughout the year in Cadiz.
The daytime temperatures in the winter months are a comfortable 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or 17 degrees Celsius. At night the temperatures drop to a chilly 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, or 11 degrees Celsius.
The daytime temperatures in the summer months are a warm 76 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or 24 to 27 degrees Celsius. At night, the temperatures drop to a comfortable 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or 17 to 22 degrees Celsius.
Rainfall in Cadiz.
Here is the average rainfall in inches throughout the year in Cadiz. The total yearly rainfall is 21 inches, or 547 millimeters.
Here is the average rainfall in millimeters throughout the year in Cadiz.
Here is the average number of days per month with precipitation throughout the year in Cadiz. We see a pronounced dry season in midsummer.
Chapter 12. Recommended videos, Cadiz and Seville.
Recommended video, Cadiz Top 40 Tourist Places. Recommended video, Vistas Andalucía, the best of southern Spain, 55 minutes.
Recommended video, Cadiz and Andalucía, Spain, 2 minutes, 12 seconds.
Recommended video, beautiful Cadiz, one of the oldest cities in Europe, 2 minutes.
Recommended video, Andalusia Vacation Travel Video Guide, 25 minutes, 33 seconds.
Recommended video, Vistas Europe Seville, 26 minutes.
Recommended video, Exposa Travel, Seville Vacation Travel Video Guide, 26 minutes.
Recommended video, Top Things to Do in Seville, Spain.
Recommended video, Things to Do in Seville, Spain Travel Guide Tourism, 7 minutes, 12 seconds.
Cadiz and Seville, Table of Contents.
Thanks for watching.